There have been over 1 trillion dawns and dusks since life began some 3.8 billion years ago. During that time, the Earth's daily rotation has slowed to a shade less than 24 hours, or 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4 seconds to be precise. This predictable daily solar cycle results in regular and profound changes in environmental light, temperature and food availability as day follows night. Almost all life on Earth, including humans, employs an internal biological timer to anticipate these daily changes. The possession of some form of clock permits organisms to optimize physiology and behavior in advance of the varied demands of the day and night cycle. Organisms effectively know the time of day. Such internally generated daily rhythms are called circadian rhythms, from the Latin circa, meaning about, and dies, meaning day. Organisms that use circadian rhythms to anticipate the rotation of the Earth are thought to have a major advantage over both their competitors and predators. For example, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for the eyes of fish living among coral reefs to switch vision from the night to daytime state. A fish whose eyes are prepared in advance for the coming dawn can exploit the new environment immediately. The alternative would be to wait for the visual system to adapt and miss out on valuable activity time, or emerge into a world where it would be more difficult to avoid predators or catch prey until the eyes have adapted. Human physiology is organized around the daily cycle of activity and sleep. In the active phase, when energy expenditure is higher and food and water are consumed, organs need to be prepared for the intake, processing, and uptake of nutrients. The activity of organs such as the stomach, liver, small intestine, pancreas, and blood flow to these organs needs internal synchronization, which a clock can provide. Sleep may be the suspension of most physical activity, but during sleep, many essential activities occur, including cellular repair, the removal of toxins, and in the brain, memory consolidation and information processing. Disrupting this pattern, as happens with jet lag or shift work, leads to internal desynchrony of the circadian system, and our ability to do the right thing at the right time is greatly impaired. Circadian rhythms are regulated by small nuclei in the middle of the brain. They are called the suprachiasmatic nuclei, or SCN. Nuclei act as control centers. The SCN are connected to other parts of the brain. Together they control your circadian rhythms, along with other body functions. For most people, the length of a complete cycle is very close to 24 hours. Circadian rhythms are vital processes that function without external factors. This is because the body itself responds to biological clocks, which exist naturally in humans and their cells. The National Institute of General Medical Sciences trusted source note that nearly every tissue and organ contain their own biological clocks. These are the result of certain proteins interacting with cells in the body, instructing them to be more active or to slow down. One master clock in the body controls all these individual clocks. In humans, the master clock is a structure called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, which contains about 20,000 nerve cells and receives direct input from the eyes. As the eyes perceive the bright light of day or the darkness of night, the SCN picks up on this information, telling the cells to act accordingly. Light keeps the circadian rhythm in sync with a 24-hour day. In addition to reactions in the cells themselves, chemicals in the brain adjust in response to the cycles of the day. In today's world, the implications of our circadian rhythms extend far beyond just sleep patterns. Our understanding of these rhythms has led to advancements in medicine, work schedules, and even mental health treatments. The alignment or misalignment of our internal clocks with our daily routines can significantly impact our overall well-being. It's fascinating to think about how these ancient biological processes continue to influence our modern lives. Consequences of the circadian rhythm are, for example, that parts of the immune system are extra active late at night and very early in the morning, while blood pressure, pulse, and body temperature are the highest during the day. Lung function is the best in the afternoon and worst 12 hours later, just before dawn. The stress hormone cortisol begins increasing around 20 to 30 minutes before one wakes up and is then high until around 11 p.m. when it falls, while growth hormone is instead mostly secreted at night. The circadian rhythm could be shown as early as the first half of the 18th century, when the French scientist Jean-Jacques Dortu de Mairan demonstrated it in the mimosa plant that continued to open its leaves in the morning despite being placed in the dark. Nearly 250 years later, in the early 1970s, a gene was found that controls the circadian rhythm by Seymour Benzer and Ronald J. Konopka. It is clear that there is a central clock in the brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This structure takes in information about light and dark from the eyes and adjusts the entire system. It is the central clock that resets the system when one changes time zones traveling across the Atlantic, for example. But exactly how it controls and communicates with the other cells of the body, which have their own clock functions, is not clear. Different people also have different preferences in terms of the circadian rhythm. Some are larks who wake up early and are then tired in the evening, while others are night owls who are more energetic in the evening and more tired in the morning. The researchers say that they belong to different chronotypes. Many researchers are looking for the genetic explanations behind the chronotypes. At the same time that it is also known that the preferences for going to bed and getting up early are not necessarily constant through life. For example, it is clearly shown that young people generally have a delayed circadian rhythm and go to bed later at night and are more tired in the morning, something that disappears when they get older. It has been shown in human studies that a delayed daily rhythm can lead to changes in glucose tolerance, insulin sensitivity, and appetite control, which by extension can lead to obesity and diabetes. An elevated risk of cancer, depression, and other psychiatric disorders, as well as cardiovascular disease in people with a delayed daily rhythm, due for example to shift work, have also been seen. There is an interesting hypothesis that is based on growing research indicating that the amount of daylight during the period one is born in and has one's early development has a long-term effect on the stability of the circadian rhythm. The hypothesis is based on those who are born in the summer with a long day and short night, having an easier time to adapt to seasonal shifts, shift work, and jet lag, compared with those born in the winter with a short day and a long night. An entirely different aspect of the circadian rhythm is the fact that if the body's cells change their function over the time of day, there can be different times that are differently suited to take medications at. This area of research is called chronopharmacology and is also relatively new. However, it is already being successfully applied within cancer care to optimize the attacks on the cancer cells when they are multiplying the most. Cell division can vary over the hours of the day and is thereby used to distinguish health and cancer cells at different points in time. This way, the treatment can provide both a better effect and fewer side effects. In the same way, chronopharmacology is used in rheumatology, where one can administer anti-inflammatory cortisone at night when the inflammatory process is most active. Further research and greater awareness in this area could help individuals to make informed choices about prioritizing their own sleep and getting enough sunlight. It could also influence the way that policies are developed by governments, educational institutions, and workplaces.